Welcome to Life Lessons. In modern life, we often think that happiness comes from achieving great accomplishments, owning possessions, or maintaining perfect relationships. However, Buddha taught that happiness does not lie in external things. He pointed out that the source of true peace and happiness is our mind, a mind nurtured by awareness and enlightenment. Buddha left us timeless lessons and guidance to face the complexities of life with tranquility and ease. Today, we will explore 5 valuable lessons from Buddha to find true happiness, a happiness not bound by external conditions. Lesson 1: Understand suffering to overcome it. Buddha taught that all suffering in life stems from dukkha, the dissatisfaction, anxiety, and inherent pain in life. When we understand that suffering is a natural part of human existence, we no longer avoid or blame it. Instead, we learn to observe suffering, understand its origins, and gradually free ourselves from deep-seated pains. This is the first step toward sustainable happiness. Lesson 2: Live mindfully in every moment. Mindfulness is the state of being aware of everything happening in the present. Buddha taught that when we live in the present moment, we reduce anxiety about the future and regrets about the past. Living mindfully not only allows us to fully enjoy each moment but also makes our minds clearer and more peaceful. Lesson 3: Let go to be free. One of Buddha's important teachings is, let go. We often cling to things we consider sources of happiness, from material possessions to relationships. But the truth is, the more we cling, the more we suffer when those things change or disappear. Learning to let go does not mean losing. On the contrary, it grants us freedom from the control of desires and attachments. Lesson 4: Practice compassion. Compassion is not only a valuable quality but also the key to happiness. Buddha emphasized that when we give love, forgiveness, and help, we also receive deep joy in our hearts. Compassion is not only for others but also for ourselves, knowing how to forgive our mistakes and accept ourselves as we are. Lesson 5: Knowing enough is happiness. Buddha once said, "He who knows enough is the richest." In a world full of temptations, we easily fall into the trap of greed, wanting more, better, and bigger. However, the truth is that happiness does not lie in what you have but in how you feel and acknowledge enough with the present. Learning to appreciate what we have is the secret to living lightly and peacefully. These lessons are not just Buddhist teachings, they are practical, simple guidelines for you to apply in your daily life. With each moment you practice, you will move closer to a life of happiness and peace. Stay tuned as we explore each of these lessons in depth. Are you ready? Before we begin, remember to like, share, and subscribe to support us. Lesson 1: Understand suffering to overcome it. According to Buddha's teachings, suffering, dukkha, is one of the 4 noble truths mentioned in the 4 noble truths, which form the foundation of Buddhism. Buddha did not teach about suffering to make people pessimistic, but to help us understand its nature and thereby find a path to liberation. 1. What is suffering? Buddha defines dukkha not only as physical or mental pain but also as all states of dissatisfaction and incompleteness in life. Suffering can manifest in several ways. Physical suffering, pain, illness, aging, and death. These phenomena are inevitable parts of life. Emotional suffering, feelings of sadness, anxiety, fear, or loneliness. Suffering from change, when we cling to something, its change brings suffering. A joy cannot last forever, when it fades, we feel a sense of loss. Suffering from desire, unfulfilled longings and unmet expectations. In daily life, suffering arises when we face adversity or when good things do not happen as we wish. This occurs not because the world is unjust, but because the nature of life is impermanent and full of change. 2. Causes of suffering. According to Buddha's teachings, the main causes of suffering lie in craving, tanha, and ignorance, avijja. Craving, we often cling to what we like and try to avoid what we dislike. This incessant desire creates dissatisfaction and suffering when we do not achieve what we want. Ignorance, Not understanding the true nature of life, especially impermanence, anicca, non-self, anatta, and the nature of suffering, leads us to fall into a cycle of disappointment. Ignorance makes us misunderstand happiness, believing it comes from external things like wealth, power, or love. Yet even when we attain these things, happiness remains incomplete because they are all temporary and easily changeable. 3. Facing suffering. Buddha does not advise us to avoid suffering, as avoidance only increases unrest. He teaches that we need to confront and recognize suffering mindfully. Observe suffering, look at your suffering without judgment or avoidance. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What is making me uneasy? Understand the nature of suffering. When we realize that all suffering is temporary, our minds will no longer be trapped in negative emotions. For example, when losing a loved one, we grieve due to our love and attachment. However, understanding that death is a natural law helps us learn to accept loss and cherish the beautiful memories. 4. The path to overcoming suffering. Buddha not only pointed out suffering but also provided a solution to overcome it, the Eightfold Path, which leads to liberation. Right view, understand the Four Noble Truths and the true nature of suffering. Right thought, cultivate positive thinking, free from greed, hatred, and ignorance. Right speech, use kind words, avoiding harm. Right action, act rightly, causing no harm to others. Right livelihood, live a virtuous life, avoiding harmful professions. Right effort, make continuous efforts to abandon negativity and develop good qualities. Right mindfulness, live mindfully, clearly aware of what is happening in the present. Right concentration, focus the mind through meditation to achieve peace and clarity. By practicing the Eightfold Path, we gradually free ourselves from the cycle of suffering and attain lasting happiness. 5. Awareness of impermanence to reduce suffering. Buddha emphasized that everything in life is impermanent, anicca. Accepting this truth helps us stop clinging to things that cannot be held forever. Impermanence in emotions, feelings of sadness or happiness come and go, like clouds drifting in the sky. Let them come and fade naturally. Impermanence in relationships, cherish loved ones while they are with you, but also accept separation as a part of life. From understanding to happiness. Understanding suffering is not meant to drown us in pessimism but to help us overcome it with wisdom and compassion. When you face suffering mindfully, you will no longer be controlled by fear and unease. Suffering is an unavoidable part of life, but through Buddha's teachings, we can learn to accept, comprehend, and find liberation. Remember, all suffering is only temporary. By practicing mindfulness, compassion, and letting go, you will move closer to a life filled with peace and happiness. Lesson 2. Live mindfully in every moment. Mindfulness, according to Buddha's teachings, is the way to maintain awareness, focus on the present, and free the mind from unnecessary worries. It is not just a technique but a lifestyle that helps us explore true happiness and peace. Mindfulness derives from the Pali word sati, meaning clear awareness and remembrance of what is happening. Buddha emphasized that mindfulness is at the core of achieving enlightenment. He taught, do not seek the past, nor long for the future, but live fully in the present. This is not just a philosophical message but also practical guidance for everyday life. Why is mindfulness important? One of the main causes of suffering is the mind's inability to stay in the present. People often regret the past or fear the future. These emotions not only rob us of peace but also obscure the simple joys of the present. Mindfulness helps us break this cycle, bringing freedom to our souls. When we live mindfully, we can understand the true nature of things rather than being influenced by subjective judgments. Recognize that all emotions, thoughts, and situations are temporary, allowing us not to cling to them. Learn to live more simply and appreciate each moment. Practicing mindfulness according to Buddha's teachings. Buddha not only explained mindfulness but also provided specific methods for practice. These methods do not require elaborate preparation and can be applied in everyday activities. 1. Mindfulness in breathing. Breathing is the connection between body and mind, and it is the best starting point for practicing mindfulness. In the Anapanasati Sutta, the discourse on mindfulness of breathing, Buddha teaches to observe your breath. When inhaling, recognize that you are inhaling. When exhaling, recognize that you are exhaling. Simply focusing on your breath creates a space for the mind to relax. There is no need to adjust your breath, just observe it, like someone standing quietly by a river watching the water flow. 2. Mindfulness in eating. Each meal is an opportunity to practice mindfulness. When eating, instead of rushing or being distracted by work, give your full attention to each bite. Savor the flavors, colors, and textures of the food. Acknowledge the efforts of those who contributed to that meal. Buddha encourages us to eat mindfully, not only to nourish the body but also to nourish the soul. 3. Mindfulness in walking. Buddha taught his disciples to practice walking meditation, where each step is taken with clear awareness. You don't need to walk slowly on purpose, just notice the feeling of your feet touching the ground, the weight of your body moving, and the sensations of the surrounding air. Walking meditation is not just a quiet exercise, it helps you realize that even the smallest actions hold meaning. 4. Mindfulness in thoughts and emotions. One of the deepest aspects of mindfulness is observing thoughts and emotions without getting attached to them. Buddha taught that the mind is like a vast sky, while thoughts and emotions are just passing clouds. When feeling angry, do not react immediately, ask yourself, where is this feeling coming from? When anxious, look deeply into the cause to recognize that it often stems from things that do not truly exist. Mindfulness helps us separate ourselves from emotions, realizing they are just temporary. 5. Mindfulness in communication. Buddha also encouraged mindfulness in speech. Speak with awareness of the impact your words have on others and yourself. Mindful speech is truthful, kind, and beneficial. When listening, give your full attention to understand the other person rather than just waiting to respond. Challenges in living mindfully. Practicing mindfulness is not always easy, especially in a busy and pressured world. Here are some common challenges and how Buddha advised overcoming them. Wandering mind, this is very natural, especially when you first start practicing. Buddha taught not to blame yourself but gently bring your mind back to the present. Feeling bored, you may find mindfulness tedious. Remember that each moment brings its own lesson, as long as you are patient enough to explore. Time pressure, practicing mindfulness does not require much time. Even a few minutes of awareness each day can lead to significant change. Happiness comes from awareness. Buddha taught that happiness does not come from achieving or possessing, but from the ability to live fully in the present. When we live mindfully, we see that each moment contains its own beauty and meaning. Living mindfully does not mean abandoning material life or responsibilities, it means changing how we approach life. From washing dishes, reading, to conversing with loved ones, all can become opportunities for practicing awareness. As you walk mindfully, feel your breath, and listen to your heart, you come closer to the peace that Buddha sought to convey. Happiness is no longer distant, it lies within your reach. Lesson 3, Letting Go to be Free. Buddha once taught that, clinging is the root of all suffering. This teaching reflects one of the core principles of Buddhism: to achieve freedom and inner peace, we must let go of attachments. However, letting go does not mean abandoning everything in life, rather, it means freeing ourselves from dependencies and unnecessary desires to live a more serene and liberated life. Understanding clinging and suffering. In the teachings of the Four Noble Truths, Buddha pointed out that suffering, dukkha, arises from craving and clinging, tanha. When we cling to material possessions, fame, or relationships, we base our happiness on things that are inherently impermanent and uncertain. The world around us is always changing, but when we cling, we often desire things to remain exactly as we want them. This contradiction between reality and desire is the source of suffering. For example, when we possess something valuable, we fear losing it. When we love someone, we worry that the relationship will change or end. When we achieve success, we fear losing recognition from others. Buddha teaches that it is not the external things that cause suffering, but our dependence on them that robs us of inner freedom. Letting go does not mean abandoning. Letting go in Buddhism does not equate to abandoning everything, living completely detached from society or relationships. Instead, letting go is about changing our approach and attitude toward life. Letting go means learning to 1. Accept that everything is impermanent, anicca. Nothing lasts forever, from material things to emotions and relationships. When we realize this, we no longer fear change. 2. Live in the present without being bound by expectations. Instead of seeking happiness from external sources, explore the tranquility that comes from within. 3. Embrace life with gratitude and non-attachment. You can enjoy everything but not allow it to control you. Practical methods for letting go. To practice letting go, Buddha proposed various practical methods. These methods do not require significant changes but rather a shift in awareness and action. Meditation and reflection. Meditation is the most effective way to cultivate the ability to let go. In meditation, we learn to observe thoughts and emotions without clinging to them. Buddha taught that our minds are like a flowing river, constantly moving. Thoughts and emotions are like small branches of water that appear and disappear. By observing without reacting, we realize that all emotions, whether joyful or sorrowful, are temporary. Practice mindfulness meditation by focusing on your breath and noticing each sensation and thought as it arises. If you find yourself clinging to a thought, gently bring your mind back to the present. Accepting impermanence. An essential part of letting go is accepting the truth that everything changes. Buddha often reminded us, what comes will go. When we understand and accept impermanence, we no longer cling to what we possess, whether material or emotional. Take a look around you. From a leaf on a tree to a cherished item or a close relationship, everything changes over time. Instead of feeling sorrow over these changes, cherish each moment you have. Practicing compassion and letting go of ego. Another source of clinging is the ego, atta. When we overly focus on ourselves, we easily cling to opinions, reputation, and personal relationships. Buddha advised practicing compassion to let go of the ego. When you genuinely care for others, you no longer put yourself at the center. This helps reduce attachment to personal interests and find joy in helping others. Benefits of letting go. When we let go, we not only find lightness but also open ourselves to new opportunities in life. Peace of mind. When we no longer cling, our minds become serene. We are no longer worried about holding on to what we have or achieving what we want. Healthy relationships. When we do not place unrealistic expectations on others, we cultivate more balanced and loving relationships. Inner freedom. Letting go frees us from being controlled by external circumstances, enhancing our freedom in thought and action. Buddha did not teach us to abandon life but to let go of what causes us suffering. When we let go, we do not lose anything, we simply free ourselves from invisible burdens. Letting go is the path to true freedom and happiness. It is not a journey of lack but a journey of abundance and peace. As you practice letting go, you will find that your spirit becomes lighter, and true happiness is no longer distant. Lesson 4. Practicing compassion. Compassion is one of the noblest qualities that Buddha taught. In the scriptures, compassion is referred to as metta, unconditional love, and karuna, the compassion for the suffering of others. This is not just an emotion reserved for a select few close individuals but rather a broad love that encompasses all beings. Practicing compassion not only benefits others but also helps our own souls become lighter and more peaceful. Buddha taught, spread compassion like the sunlight that illuminates everywhere. This light does not discriminate who is worthy of receiving it, nor does it depend on circumstances. When we practice compassion, we feel the power of love and connection with everyone around us. The meaning of compassion. Compassion is not just an emotion but also a concrete action aimed at alleviating the suffering of others. In Buddhist teachings, compassion is built on understanding. This means that in order to practice compassion, we need to comprehend the suffering of others and recognize that all sentient beings desire happiness and wish to be free from suffering. Buddha emphasized that compassion excludes no one, including enemies or those who have harmed us. Practicing compassion does not signify weakness, but rather a manifestation of a strong spirit that is not swayed by hatred or discrimination. Compassion for oneself. An important but often overlooked aspect of compassion is self-love. Many people easily empathize with others but are quick to judge or blame themselves when they make mistakes. Buddha teaches that loving oneself is the foundation for loving others. Start by forgiving yourself. Recognize that you, too, are human and have moments of weakness and error. When you practice compassion towards yourself, you reduce inner pressure, making it easier to extend love to others. Practicing compassion in daily life. Compassion should not be an abstract concept but rather practiced in every small action. Here are some ways you can apply compassion in your daily life. 1. Listen sincerely. Sometimes, what someone else needs is not a solution but a genuine listener. Pay attention to what they share, without judgment or interruption, so they feel understood. 2. Spread joy. A smile, a word of encouragement, or a caring gesture can brighten someone's day. Start with small acts to make a difference. 3. Help others. When you see someone in need, be ready to assist them within your capacity. Even a small act can bring joy and lightness to someone else. 4. Practice compassion in thought. Buddha taught that even thoughts hold power. Spend time each day sending well wishes to everyone, including those you have never met. Benefits of compassion. By practicing compassion, you not only benefit others but also receive many spiritual rewards. Peace of mind. When you do good for others, your spirit becomes lighter and more serene. Reduced stress. Compassion helps you let go of resentment and hatred, thereby reducing negative emotions that cause stress. Social connection. Compassion fosters sustainable and meaningful relationships. When you love and care for others, they sense your sincerity and respond with gratitude. Challenges in practicing compassion. Although compassion brings many benefits, practicing it is not always easy. There will be times when you encounter people who hurt you or behave poorly. In such situations, Buddha advises us to remember, hatred cannot be extinguished by hatred, only love can do that. Try to look deeply into the reasons behind someone's negative behavior. Often, they are suffering in some way as well. When you understand this, you will find it easier to empathize and forgive. Compassion is an essential quality on the path to seeking happiness and peace. When you practice compassion, you not only bring light to the lives of others but also illuminate your own path. Buddha once said, "Live like a lotus flower, rising from the mud yet still exuding a fragrant aroma." Compassion is that fragrance, a strength that helps you overcome all challenges and live a complete and meaningful life. Lesson 5. Knowing enough is happiness. The richest person is the one who knows enough, Buddha once taught. This teaching contains a profound truth about the nature of happiness and contentment in life. In a world where desires and expectations are constantly increasing, learning to know enough not only helps us find peace but also is the key to living a meaningful life. The meaning of knowing enough in Buddhist teachings. In the Anguttara Nikaya, Buddha emphasized that happiness does not come from possessing more but from being satisfied with what we have. The mindset of not knowing enough, always feeling a sense of lack and wanting more, is the source of suffering. Knowing enough does not mean abandoning all desires or basic needs but achieving a balance between desire and reality. This helps us break free from the cycle of craving, tanha, one of the three main causes of suffering according to the Four Noble Truths. Why not knowing enough causes suffering? The desire born from not knowing enough, akusala tanha, causes the human mind to be torn between expectations and reality. When you want something and cannot obtain it, you feel disappointed. When you achieve it, the joy often lasts only a moment before you desire something else. This creates an endless loop, like drinking seawater to quench thirst. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. Buddha likened greed to fire. It burns everything it touches, leaving us feeling perpetually unsatisfied. How to practice knowing enough? Be grateful for the present. Buddha teaches that gratitude is the foundation of happiness. Take time each day to reflect on what you have: health, family, friends, or even a warm meal. When you cultivate gratitude, you will realize that your life is fuller than you think. Recognize your true needs. Not everything we want is necessary. Buddha advises distinguishing between needs and desires. Once basic needs are met, everything else is secondary. Practice meditation. Meditation helps your mind return to the present, reducing thoughts about what you lack. In meditation, you can feel a sense of fullness right in the moment, without needing anything external. Live simply. Buddha led a simple life and encouraged his disciples to do the same. Reducing dependence on material possessions not only frees you from societal pressure but also helps your mind become more tranquil. Recognize the nature of possessions. Buddha taught that everything in life is impermanent. What you own today may be gone tomorrow. When you understand this, you will no longer cling to possessions or external things to define your happiness. Benefits of knowing enough. Peace of mind. When you stop chasing unnecessary things, you will feel lighter and more at peace. Reduced pressure. Life will no longer be dictated by the pressure to achieve more. You will feel free from imposed social standards. Improved relationships. Knowing enough helps you appreciate those around you rather than comparing or competing with them. This fosters healthier and more meaningful relationships. Enhanced mental health. A mindset of contentment helps reduce stress and anxiety, major contributors to many mental health issues. Spreading happiness. When you are happy, you can easily bring joy to others. The attitude of knowing enough not only transforms your life but also positively affects those around you. Knowing enough is not passivity. One common misunderstanding is that knowing enough equals a lack of effort or ambition. In reality, knowing enough is not about giving up the desire to live better but about living in balance and awareness. You can still set goals and work hard without being swept away by the feeling of never enough. Knowing enough is an important lesson that Buddha taught to help people achieve true happiness. When you learn to appreciate what you have and reduce attachment to external things, you will realize that happiness is not something distant. It is always present within your mind, as long as you know how to perceive it correctly. Start practicing knowing enough today. Look at your life with gratitude and recognize that everything you truly need for happiness is already available. This is the greatest gift that Buddha has provided for you to live a peaceful and meaningful life. Conclusion: happiness is the journey of awareness. The 5 lessons from Buddha are not merely profound teachings for saints, but practical guidelines that anyone can apply in daily life. Each lesson is a step on the path toward peace, helping us understand ourselves, overcome suffering, and find true happiness. First, understand suffering to transcend it. By confronting the essence of life, we realize that suffering is not something to be avoided but an opportunity for growth and discovering the roots of liberation. Suffering is not everlasting, and within its transformation, we find hope. Second, practice mindfulness in every moment. This is the key to maintaining peace amid the hustle and bustle of life. When you focus on the present, you will see that each moment holds its unique wonder and meaning. Mindfulness is not just a meditation practice, it is a way of living that allows you to enjoy life in its entirety. Third, let go to be free. Clinging to what does not belong to us only adds burdens to our souls. By letting go, you free yourself from dependency and discover true liberation. Letting go is not about losing, it is about creating space to embrace better things. Fourth, practice compassion. Compassion is the shortest path to happiness. Love is not only for others but also for yourself. When you live with compassion, you not only alleviate the pain of others but also spread positive energy everywhere. Compassion does not require grand actions. Sometimes, a smile or a word of encouragement is enough to change the world around you. Finally, knowing enough is happiness. In a modern world full of temptations, appreciating what you have is a valuable lesson. When you stop chasing endless desires, you will realize that happiness is not about possessing much but about being satisfied with what you have. The journey of seeking happiness is not a race to reach a distant destination. It is about being present in each step, facing reality with awareness and peace. Buddha teaches that when the mind is freed from the chains of suffering and craving, happiness will naturally flow like a refreshing stream. If you find these 5 lessons helpful, take time to reflect and practice them. Remember, true happiness does not lie in merely hearing these lessons but in how you apply them in your life. Start with small things, a minute of mindfulness, an act of compassion, or letting go of something unnecessary. Help spread these meaningful messages to others. By liking, subscribing to the Life Lessons channel, and sharing this video, you not only support us but also contribute to inspiring and spreading positive energy within the community. We are grateful for your presence on this journey. Each of us, by learning and practicing Buddha's lessons, plays a part in creating a better world. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next videos.